place. Okay. Just some more minor setup on my end, and okay. This is Dark Souls 1, well, remastered really. For the most part, including all of let's see. Go Bandito. There we go. That works. Sure. And yeah, that works.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arched trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. His faithful knights, and the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scales betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless lights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Okay. Getting out of here. Well, I'm starting as a bandito for that high strength. It's 14 strength. Unlike Dark Souls 2, where I guess bandit with dex class for some reason. I'll be trying not to skip anything. Cutscenes, side quests, all that jazz. I might skip some areas, but we'll probably come back to them. That's cool. Run, boy. Just sad battle axe. Considered doing a level 1 run, but I find those a little boring. Hey, Oscar.
Oh, you're no Hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Sure.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell, and thank you.
Very specific family saying you got there. Well, there we go. right here. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I'm coming for you. Here, go down here. I'll take that.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. Leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Now, I have played Dark Souls many times, so I'm probably not going to be doing everything in the order the usual person would be playing through this. I guess the main example being that while I will be going to the first stage-ish, the Undead Burg, I will be entering it from the back. For my starting gift, I chose the Master Key, which lets you open certain doors. Some of them much more important than others, but it does let you skip quite a bit. You just have to be prepared to deal with what's waiting for you on the other end. Not sure why I grabbed that, but sure. Take that. Need it. Bye, guys. Now I'm probably going to be a strength build. Not so much for the Zweihander I picked up. I'm not going the Lightning Zweihander route. But I will be going for a very specific sword. Due to the remasters, now you can finally use more than one at a time. And I can't raise that anymore. That works. Oh, am I really 40 off from leveling? No.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on. But I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land, the undead.
Alright. Go straight down here. Still using those. Okay. Oh, I'm a bit on the heavy side, ain't I? That's better. Now, if I can find a decent pair of pants, I'm okay looking like this. The super spooky ghost ruins where you can't hit anything, but they can hit you. Yeah, this one. Take that, and goodbye. So while you drop your souls on death, you never drop your items. So if you need to do a mad sprint because you know a specific thing is somewhere, you can always just do that. Actually, I'm going the wrong way. I need to get my skeleton sword before I go anywhere. Okay. So as it can be seen, there are multiple paths you can take right off the bat. Only one of them will make you feel safe though, and that's head straight to the undead burg. Can't actually kill anything in the catacombs unless you've got a divine weapon or you find the necromancers and kill them. Like this necromancer right here. Oh, hi there. Hey, that's rude. Stop it. Whoop. I'm trying to kick forward. There we go. Oh, come on. I just want to go, man. Could you just go away? I kind of need this bonfire. Oh no. Oh no. That's fine. It's lit. I don't usually stop for the bonfire. Usually hit the switch and keep running. Stopping for the bonfire does give the skeletons enough time to actually follow you in there. However, actually I don't need this anymore. At best this. Didn't have to get rid of the necromancer, but it does make things just a bit smoother when I come back here. The real priority was the switch. Alright. With the switch open, I can now exit this small part of the building. Going. No, stop. Oh no. Oh no. Well, that was what I was going for, but I did miss a bit because he pushed me. If you very gently just step off that specific edge, there's a ramp directly below. I'll give it one more shot, and if I fall again, I'll just use the Sly-Hander instead of the Gravelord sword. There goes, I'm back again. Okay, you do that off the edge. You also do that off the edge. And you need to stop messing with my jumps. Okay. Right there. And just gingerly backstep. You don't want to turn and have him kind of step one foot over the edge and then slide off. Okay. That was the next fun part. Actually, I guess I could put my clothes back on. Still got my fast roam. Hey, bro. Oh, that tail. That works. leave me alone. I'm already dead. Okay, now we wait. I can't remember how long, but... So taking the time to push the skeletons off the cliff, or at least trick them off the cliff, helps, because they will follow you all the way down into this room and attack you while you're in the coffin. Just like that, I'm in one of the 4 final areas of the game. Hey Nito, give me your sword. I'll totally not kill you with it later on. I'm now a member of the Graveyards. I could just homer it all the way back. Now, while I have the strength for the skeleton sword, I don't have the dexterity for it. So it'll be at least a little bit before I actually use it. Okay. But with that out of the way, the next stop is now to get into the Undead Burg from behind. There goes the master key. So he mentioned there were 2 bells. The second bell you're supposed to go for is at the end of this cave, which leads to all of Blighttown. You're supposed to clear the Undead Burg and then the small township underneath the Undead Burg, and the sewers, and then you enter Blighttown, then you exit here, and from a key in Blighttown, oh, there's a dead dragon. From a key in Blighttown, you can enter that door I opened with the master key and return back to Firelink Shrine. But I just opened the door right away. Later, dudes. So those are all the wyverns in the entire game, aside from one dragon. I think it's just one. Other than that, there's just the undead dragons lying around, like the one I ran past. It actually won't get up unless you take a swing at it or try to take one of the items. Okay, This is now marked as my checkpoint, which I might not need. Hey man, that's rude. Oh, I missed. There we go. Bye. Okay, that'll get me 2 more levels, and my consumable souls should get me the 3rd level. And now I'll have the dexterity for the skeleton sword. It's a bit hard to see from the mist, but there's a bit of a forest over there. There's also a Hydra over there, sitting in a little pond, and he'll just pelt you with, I guess they're not really magic attacks. He'll just spam Hydra Pump at you from a mile away. Okay. There we go. Hey, twinkling. That's nice. Where are the plant people? Bye. Now then, are they walking after me or sprinting after me? They're running after me. Okay. Yeah, that's rude. That's the wrong weapon. Just keep backing it up. Nice dodge, bro. Okay, with them out of the way, I guess I don't need the bonfire. Now deeper in the forest. Specifically for this over here. Full suit of actual armor, not this leather I've got on. Okay, actually, if I've killed the 2, I don't need to reset. Every time you sit at a bonfire, all the enemies respawn and reset to their positions. So sometimes if you're running away, you can just run to the nearest bonfire. Oh yeah, I ran past you guys too. Huh. Bye. Oh, hey, it's you again. Bye. Hey, Andre. Oh, that might have been overkill. Sure, let's use it all. That's the wrong button. Okay. 13 dexterity, at least 16 strength to two-hand the sword. I might as well get some more health. Graveyard sword, dexterity shield I got from the Black Knight, and a full suit of armor. I am now a fat roller. Which normally would be terrible, but full suit of armor means most light attacks and some moderate attacks. I can just keep swinging through them. Oh, just short. This and oh, this tried to get. Oh, well, you know what? That's. I totally wanted to take this elevator. Well, anyway, this elevator takes you right back to Firelink Shrine. I've skipped the first boss, and well, I guess it's not really an optional boss, but I guess he could be considered the second boss. Most shortcuts in Dark Souls, I guess that's a series in general. It's usually just two elevators or something like that next to each other. How's it going? Now he's dead. Now we go over here, and here's another rapier bro. And he's down. Now here's another door that I'm able to open because I have the master key. Oh, I just skipped right through his text. Hey, Lautrec.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lautrec of Carim. I truly appreciate this. And I guarantee a reward. Only later. Yes, very sorry. Your reward will have to wait. I've just been freed. Allow me some time.
Okay, Lautrec. So I'm completely going to murder him later on, just not now. Okay, so I've skipped Taurus Demon, I've skipped Capra Demon, ignored Moonlight Butterfly, and the Bell Gargoyles are my first boss now. Which, technically, if I were using glitches, I could skip them too. And that was the Gargoyles. Okay, now I just gotta ring the second one. Now, I haven't actually explained anything about the shield I've got on my back. Some shields give passive bonuses just for having them on you. This one's bonus is stamina regen.
Greetings.
Hello.
I am Oswald of Careem, the Park. Thou appearest to lack faith, yet magnanimous and accomplished. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sins lie. Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
Huh. Well. That was Oswald the Pardoner. If you commit any sins like murdering NPCs or something like that, we could always talk to him. To what I remember, I believe sins only come into play when you're playing online with the Covenant system. Having a large amount of sin puts you on a hit list for a specific Covenant, and those players will be sent to hunt you down. Even though I do a lot of damage, I'm moderately tanky at best. And the reduced movement speed from being in such heavy armor doesn't help that. So if that specific soldier doesn't respawn, his job is just to run through the gate and shut it. But since I've entered the whole area backwards, well, he kind of stumbles for a bit. Okay. There's the longbow I picked up. It'll do shit all damage, but it will catch someone's attention. Okay, now that he's out of the way, so enemies with spears tend to prioritize blocking unless you turn your back to them. It does make them slow and easy to get around. And you can always just kick the shield away. Here real quick. This is supposed to be the second Dark Knight you bump into. And that was a Dark Knight. They do kind of look like Sauron. Oh, been poisoned. I picked up any poison heals? No, that's fine. Hi there. Masterful play. Perfect strategy. All according to Keikaku. Let's see what we do here. This is the first bonfire you're supposed to run into in the game. Okay, extend my health bar a lot. I'll keep going up through this way. Thank you very much. Okay. That leads back to the cathedral I fought the gargoyles in. This bridge is the one with the first boss on it. I can't remember if I'm allowed to enter boss rooms from the backside, but I could always give it a shot. No, okay. I'm not allowed to enter boss rooms from the back. Ah yes, Slayer. The living meme himself.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. Will you find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time. Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you. I have a proposition, if you have a moment. Well, not
crap.
to worry. I do not think I was in the wrong.
No, Slayer, be my friend.
Oh, hello. You're still keen on speaking to me. Then perhaps you have reconsidered my offer. The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance? So what do you say? Why not help one another on this lonely journey? This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this. We are amidst strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old fading in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you missed it, you must be blind.
Okay, Slayer, that's cool. Now, normally that would have unlocked co-op, but I'm playing offline. Now, because I've entered the burg backwards, a dragon is supposed to attack you on this bridge. But because I've never gotten the jump scare from the dragon on a previous bridge, he actually can't spawn until I go back to that area for that jump scare. Now that door is open. Head right back through here. Back into what was supposed to be the first area. So all of this nonsense was to skip that little portion of bridge right there. Right there is where the dragon comes down to spook you and then flies off. But if you never cross it, he'll never attack you on the bridge.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you. Hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Now then, what do I need from him? Oh, Huh. I didn't realize they moved the dried finger here. Dried finger and the repair box.
Thank you, Cat.
Okay.
Mind me. It's all...
So, in Dark Souls there are invasions, just like I can summon people to help me with the boss. People can also force their way into other people's games to hunt them down. When you get invaded, there's a cooldown where you can't get invaded again. So, at least if you get murdered, you get maybe... I can't remember how long the timer is. It might be 10 minutes, it might be half an hour. Something decently long where you could hypothetically make it to the next bonfire of the area and not worry about getting hunted down again. The dried fingers are an unlimited use item that lets you just clear the timer. Now, it can be especially dangerous because the timer starts the moment someone spawns in to hunt you, and certain areas allow you to be invaded by multiple people at once. So using the dried fingers while someone is already in your world hunting for you, you could end up having to fight 2, maybe 3? I can't remember if you can fight up to 3 at once, but... Oh, and there's the first Dark Knight. If you knock down an enemy, there's a split second when they're getting up that you can essentially do anything, and they'll just take it. Think of it as a melee attack in a fighting game, except they just can't walk for that first split second. It somewhat applies to players too when they're knocked down, but in a weird way. Now I'm a bit too heavy to be down here. Could probably be lighter. That works. Oh, maybe put some pants on. That works. That's better. Okay, so down here is Havel the Rock Johnson. He's crazy now, for plot reasons. And that hammer hurts. But you can sidestep him if you're lightweight. And then comes into play the effect where they can't react for a split second. And you can just do that over and over again until they're gone. Now, against Havel, I found it only really works when he two-hands his weapon, because with a sharp eye you can see I keep catching him because he keeps trying to get his hand off of the weapon to get his shield back out. But that causes him to stutter in place for a fraction of a second, And during that stir, you can just backstab him again. Was it this barrel? There we go. Crystal lizards give you a ton of ore when you find them. The key part being when you find them. Oh, I'm not even a lightweight. Huh. Oh, because he was two-handing. His weapon swing was slower and I was able to circle around him. Okay, so now we run over here. First boss jumps down and gives a nice rod for Spooky. And then you just run away and climb back up here. And he just looks at you like, did you not? Okay. Now we head into the town under. Oh, I killed Havel and didn't even put his ring on. It boosts your carry weight by 50%. So now I'm a medium weight in my full suit of heavy armor. %50 is a crazy amount of carry weight, especially in Dark Souls 1. Because carry weight is tied to your stamina stat. So as long as you raise your stamina, which you need to do everything with. Huh. I'm so used to mashing through everything. Hello,
Brilliant. You opened the door for me. Thank you. I'm saved. I thought I might never escape. I am Griggs of Vindheim, the sorcerer of the school. I am much obliged for your assistance. Thanks to you, I may now resume my travels. Oh, hello. I'm fine. I will rest a while, then return to Firelink Shrine. I have my sorcery. And I will be more cautious next time. Besides, I have an important task at hand.
I'll take those. So, even though he talks to me now, once he goes back to Firelink Shrine, he won't give me the time of day. My character is a freaking idiot. Love to inflict bleeding. So bleeding is usually how you get around people in heavy armor, because it inflicts a fixed amount of damage right through their defense. that boy over there, and then you swing off here. Ow. That's rude. So normally this is the point where you would continue on to the depths. However, I saved Lothric of Carim and I want my reward. Hello. That missed. Oh. Ow. That's rude. Okay, so before I spend anything to level up, I'm gonna go right down here. Hey Lothric, how's it going?
Hello there. I have your reward. Please, accept it. I am grateful to you for freeing me. Not enough for you? Well, let's not be greedy now.
Okay, so this is where you put your weapon away. And he's gone now. When you kill an NPC, the fastest way to get their stuff, if you happen to have killed them with a cliff or something like that, is to quit the game. It's very important that you kill Lothric before you go to ring the second bell, because he'll have a fun time up here with your NPCs while you are gone. Yes. Hello. Goodbye. Don't have time for you. Hello there.
You still have your senses about you. Then why won't you buy some of my moss? I need your souls.
I'll take one of these and I guess two of those.
Come again, if you please.
Okay. Now we're gonna start heading into the sewers, which is supposed to be how you enter Blighttown. So while it may seem this sword is a bit busted, it is a, well, aside from the high strength requirements, it's got a, well, it's a moderate strength requirement, but for a starting character, 24 is quite the investment, which is why I'm locked to always two-handing it if I ever want to swing it. But other than that, this weapon has poor scaling. So as my stats go up, the weapon's damage won't go up as much as it could compared to other weapons. Oh, I must be dropping something. That's fine. Dead enemy. I need that too. Totally need this weapon I'm not going to use. Now while I could have gone straight to the boss because I jumped straight down the gutter to the bottom, it's pretty important to come down here first. There's a fun little trap up here that can go off during the boss fight, which I feel most people never notice because they're playing through the area normally. This droid right here. He's overseeing the boss room and he'll start pelting magic down while you're fighting the boss. So one would think that the safest place to stand would be close to the wall under his balcony, but that actually makes things worse. Because you can also buff the boss, but only if he's close to him. Now, when playing through this area normally, you kind of bump into the mage and kill him, and maybe don't think anything of it after that. Oh, that was the wrong button. Meant to jump over that, but sure. Hi guys. So, basilisks inflict curse. Or, oh. You might be dead. What? Okay. Basilisks inflict curse, which is, you could just call it petrification. So it's about as super dead as you could be. Not only does it kill you, but you are cursed. So when you respawn, your max health is lowered. And the fun part about it is that it stacks. In the original release, they could stack and stack until you were at about an eighth of your max health, something like that. So you would legit get stuck in some areas if you couldn't perfect run your way out of a certain room. It's been so long since I dropped down here. Can't exactly remember how to get out. Oh. Later on, they patched to reduce the severity of the curses. Rats. So a rat's headbutt functions somewhat like the kick does. It completely ignores poison, just kind of staggers you. And the fact that rats can put poison can make them a problem in large groups when half of them decide to start spamming the headbutt. Okay, now coming up on the boss of the sewers. nothing's lit long enough. But this sword does look poison. Bosses like this are just immune to poison. Now we can go straight into Blighttown. Hello, Dom Hall. Dom Hall? Dom Null?
I'm Donald of Xena. I'm
Dom
just
Null.
a peddler of sorts. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them. I'm afraid I don't see anything here.
Okay. Cool story,
Well,
bro.
that is a shame, but no matter. No, not to worry. Come back again. I'm always available. Not every trade was meant to be. There'll be more in store for us. Someday. Sometime.
So he sells armor sets that look like the boss's. I believe he does it later on, the second time I meet him though. And I haven't really fought any humanoid bosses, so he doesn't have anything just yet. Oh yeah. Let's equip humanity. Since I'm out of proper healing, humanity can fill the gap, I guess. Two-handing isn't fast enough to... So this sword's falling off point is starting to show. As on top of how I haven't upgraded it at all, it doesn't really benefit too much from my stats. Oh, toxic. There we go. Toxic is the strongest form of poison. I believe it deals about triple the damage poison deals. Something like that. Let's see, right here. I'll take that. Sure what weapon to use other than the skeleton sword, at least for now. I could just upgrade it as I go along and keep it on me. So weapons that don't really scale with your stats tend to be good for the first playthrough, and that's about it. When you do a second run onward in the same character, all enemies get stat boosts. Well, that was rude. Standing right in the way. Okay, so now we'll go back around here. So around here, I think. Oh, it's right there. Full suit of ninja clothes. Exactly what I wanted. Actually, considering my stats, I could wield the Sephiroth katana, as even though it's a dexterity weapon, you need a large amount of strength to start wielding it. I can't remember where the Sephiroth katana is though, but once it pops up, I could use my aura on it. Been focusing a bit more on the stamina side of things, as I'm pretty tanky. Here's the ladder. Oh, hi there. Man, that's rude. Everyone with the quick. Another thing I've been, that's rude. I've been ignoring is you can upgrade bonfires to give you more escorts, but I haven't stopped to do any of that. Come to think of it, I haven't cashed in any of my Firekeeper souls, which is why they do shit all healing right now. The original release, Blighttown was known for being a bit of a shithole. It would cause the frames to drop horrendously. Well, I ran right into that one, didn't I? toxic is, you need to use a specific poison heal. Which, I've seen it since the remaster. Oh wow, they're just slightly too high. Before killing the toxic snipers would usually have a fairly good chance of giving you something to cure the toxic, just for running out of damage. Non-toxic and poison. Get the best of both worlds. Okay, now that's taken care of. Should probably upgrade a bonfire, at least one of them. Okay, so now I'm human again, and I've got 10 instead of 5 Estus. Now, even when you're offline, there are NPC invaders like this one. Although Mildred's a bit of a chump. I mean, for starters, she's wearing a helmet and nothing else. Okay. That's the wrong helmet. Okay, so now I put on the set of ninja gear I got. Yeah. So not only am I lightweight now, but I also have much more poison resistance than I did in a suit of armor. Just stepping in the swamp itself starts to poison you. Oh, barely made it. That's fine. Okay. And at the bottom of the swamp is the second bell. Which I guess I can get my suit of armor back on. Okay. The fact that she has a belly button concerning. she tries to fill the room with lava. Usually when you're standing right in front of her, her sword swings can miss pretty easily. Now enter Sen's Fortress. Or I could keep going down a little bit and take a peek at Hell. Get out of here. Ah yes, consumable souls. Everything since I'm approaching the halfway point of the game. Please kill that soul. I'm not going to be using her weapons at all. Blooming moss. Finally. They only waited till after Blight Town to give me that. Oh, I couldn't remember if that jump was even doable. Oh, well. That item right there is 5 feet or so. Yeah. I believe I have one on me already. If I remember correctly, there are 8 total in, well, 8 total per playthrough. You can only actually use 7 in one playthrough. Because, well, you need a firekeeper to infuse the soul into your flask, so if you kill all of them, well, I could have sworn that jump was, well, jumpable. Maybe if I were lighter, but I could always just snipe him with some arrows. Oh, there we go. And since that was the last toxic sniper up here, now I might as well use this. Hi, doggy. Firekeeper cell. So dogs in every Souls game have always been problematic, I guess you could put it. In Demon Souls, it was that their attack speed tied with their damage was a little silly, just a little bit. Having a slow weapon usually meant you were going to get hit, at the very least trading with the dogs to get rid of them. In Dark Souls 1, someone decided that the dogs should be able to do dodges. Which by itself isn't much of a problem. But then it stemmed into Dark Souls 3, because they thought they needed to do everything Dark Souls 1 did, but totally better. So the dog's movement speed in 3 is just a little silly. It's almost, you know, it is Bloodborne tier, which isn't very, can be fun in the moment, but once you stop to think about it, where am I going with this? In Dark Souls 3, player speed and enemy speed don't really line up at all. All the enemies seem to be moving as if they were rejects from Bloodborne, while the player character moves, I believe it's close to Demon Souls levels of speed. Meanwhile, Dark Souls 2 has the slowest speed. much more methodical. While Dark Souls 1 is the second slowest, but majority of enemies also move at the same speed that you can. Too late in the roll. Okay, now exiting Bright Town. So now we return to the cathedral where the blacksmith was. And I'll be able to enter that gate that was open from ringing the second bell. There's Frampt. He's one of the primordial serpents, and he spawns after you've gotten both of the bells. Oh, Petrus, I never spoke to you.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Faramund. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
Okay. Oh. Actually, yeah, it is this way. Okay. So a lot of Dark Souls secret paths involve just stepping off of an elevator as it's moving. And now we wait for the same one that brought me here from the asylum. So now I'm back to the asylum, but since I killed the warden, everyone's had some time to get out. despite them giving the same souls as most basic enemies, they definitely hit harder. Except with explosions added to everything in this smaller room. Oh, that's so cool. That was brief. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Now he has a ton of power. Secret boss. Come on. He's too high for this. $20,000 souls and a Titanite slab. And I'm almost back at my cell. Peculiar doll. Now there are two more things I need to do in here. Another Black Knight. Here. Oh, thank you. So normally the Black Knight's combo would have ended there. But because he poise broke me, when you're poise broken, any follow-up hits will continue to stagger you. Oh, hey Oscar, he's undead now. Follow-up hits will continue to stagger you. So he poise broke me, and the small zombie that followed me ended up sinking a hit in, which continued my stagger and allowed Black Knight to start another combo. Oh, I forgot the cannonball comes back. Still curious who set it back up. He's got a spear. Okay. Originally on the first run, this door was locked. Rusted iron ring. While very useful of a ring, because I usually come here after Blighttown, it doesn't really seem much use. It allows you to move through anything that would lower your movement speed, like when you need to run through the swamp. As you can see, a good suit of armor can stop just about anything in the game. This is also considering that I've not upgraded anything on me. Back in Firelink again. Now we can progress to Sen's Fortress. Can make it surprisingly far without upgrading anything. Say having about 200 damage on a weapon is enough to get all the way up to the halfway point. And then if you've been going that far with just a 200 damage weapon, you should be loaded on materials and you can just pick a weapon from all the loot you've got up to that point. Sen's Fortress is a bit of a scrub lord's trap. Got floor panels, snake men, other fun stuff. But anyone who just runs in head first will just run into everything. So the ability to stagger enemies isn't actually by how much damage you do. It's more so what weapon, the class of weapon specifically. Actually, what am I doing? If you've got a lot of arrows, and regardless of how much damage you're actually doing, you can take out the snake man that's up there. If you have enough damage, you'll outright kill him. If you have enough arrows, you'll keep staggering him until he's pushed off the edge. But the snake men casters are noticeably softer than the swordsmen. Hello there. Another thing you should never really be too afraid of is blocking with your weapon. I mean, clearly you shouldn't block with a dagger, but you shouldn't be afraid to use the guard if you've got a straight sword or something. Give up a bit of help from the blocking to keep your position. So making noise, like clanging your weapon against walls, does actually work to catch an enemy's attention. Not a lot of places where it's useful, but it's there. And here he is. Very first mimic in the game. Now there was a hole here, but if you wait for the boulder trap to keep going off and off, eventually it'll pull the hole and you can go right through here. self-sustained elevator. Made specifically for people who don't get off the elevator when it reaches their stop. Started shooting through a different wall that was all the way down there. Which, if I remember correctly, I don't even have the key because it's at the end of that hall anyway. But when you Snake Man down there's free souls, so that works. The different Souls games mixed up, but I believe you need 6 of the specific ore to upgrade something 5 tiers. I believe weapons in this one go up to 15. So I would need 6 normal shards of ore, 6 large shards, and then 6 chunks. And then you finish off a weapon with a slab, which I recommend. Take a right instead of going to the boss room, because this boy has to go. I love that sound. The sound of toxic poison. And he's dead. The full effects of toxic compared to poison tend to change from game to game, but usually it lowers enemy stamina regen. Already in a good way. That's fine, he didn't throw me off at least. wobbling. There we go. If you hit his legs enough times, he'll wobble. And then you hit him some more times and he'll tumble. And then he's dead. And I am now in the City of the Gods, Anor Londo. This could be marked as the halfway point of the whole game. I guess it's a bit hard to say if it's the halfway point or the 2/3 point. Hey bro. So I'm ignoring all the scenery for a moment because I need that bonfire. Hello, you.
Well, you are a rare visitor. Welcome to the lost city of Anor Londo, chosen undead. If you seek Lord Gwyn's old key, exit here and head straight yonder. If you are the chosen one, a revelation shall visit thee. What follows thereafter depends upon you. What is it? What am I? Well, I am the keeper of the bonfire. If not for me, what beacon would there be in this lost city? A gatekeeper and a guide. That is my calling.
Okay. Now, the large room I ran right past has some treasure in it. None of these guards actually swing unless you get close to them or you take a swing at them. Usually with an arrow. Being able to stagger an opponent is a ridiculous boon to have. The thing about these knights is, I can't remember if they actually try to block at any point, but their shield is constantly active. My attacks won't get deflected, but if it hits the shield first, it's entirely negated against them. Oh, they do block, yes. I never liked how enemies could dodge in Dark Souls. Not the I have invincibility frames. So very large enemies like this, if I were swinging at the start of his dodge, my swing would clip right through him and do nothing. Another thing about Dark Souls is, it's often beneficial to play without being locked on, as, it keeps the dodge roll from, Demon Souls. Ooh, giant halberd. Where, if you are locked on, you can only roll in one of the, cardinal directions. Any kind of diagonal rolling to try and slip behind someone or something, you would have to unlock the camera and instead manually keep the camera on the enemy. I know what I can turn this character into. While this sword is very good, its damage is falling off. However, since I already had to invest 16 strength to use it, generally I should aim towards a weapon that needs that 16 strength. Boy, give me a stagger. So normally someone would come through this, fight the gargoyle, and then look at that and wonder how even. Could wander this area for quite a while before realizing that they expect you to jump onto a railing and climb into a broken window of that cathedral. Titanite is the upgrade material of this game. Normal Titanite is for normal weapons. Green Titanite is for anything you've infused with an element. Twinkling Titanite is for special weapons. Wow. Such as the Black Knight weapons. Weapons that are born from something sold, like the skeleton sword I've got, use a demon titanite because it's titanite from a demon made of stone. So the titanite itself has a soul of its own. Ooh, don't go stepping on. Oh boy, this place is great. Now as for that boy over there... Oh, I believe I have enough carry weight to just have the bow on me. That boy over there. So a great help here is great shield and like a spear or something like that. People who play those builds have no problem here, including most ranged attackers. Oh, I thought it was gonna slip like that. Definitely helps to have heavy armor so you don't get pushed off the edge. So now I'm on the device that you can see from the bridge. The stamina regen from the shield really helps. Having a large stamina pool is one thing, but tying it with stamina regen is pretty great. Got the old doll. I guess I could at least open the front door before leaving. The peculiar doll is used to access something from that cathedral I was just waltzing over. So he started freaking out because he tried to dodge away from me, and enemies have a bit of a limit on how far they can go from their spawn point. When they're beyond that limit, they might take a single swing at you at best, or rather at most, they might take a single swing at you, and then they will freak out a little bit as they walk backwards to their spawn point. There we go. Here's another fun one. Oh, there he goes. This is an enemy type I've never really liked because of their ability to jump straight up. In most other games, jumping wouldn't be a problem, because usually you too could jump or have an attack that would aim higher than usual. But every other enemy in the game is made in mind with the fact that you don't really jump. Verticality isn't really a thing other than for exploration. So having an enemy that can jump, actually jump, means you're going to be missing swings. Yeah, the famous Anor Londo archers. So if you wait for them to de-aggro and then you go through this pillar from the right side, the left archer takes a moment longer to realize you're running up again. Which leads to this. Now, the real dire part of these archers is that was good. But because of the way the arrows and the hitboxes work, this game uses cardinal directions a lot. Get out of here. This game loves freaking cardinal directions. Regardless of how the arrow hit me, or rather, if I'm running along the wall like this, and the archer that was ahead of me would have shot me, I would have flown relative to my back, straight off this edge diagonally. Instead of, well, since he was standing over there, it should have pegged me into the wall. So people will run at the archers, holding towards the wall out of fear of falling. Then they would get, wow, you really dropped something? Then they would get hit by the arrow, and then because of the game's obsession with cardinal directions, technically they were hit from the front, so it will shoot them towards their guy instead of from the direction that the arrow hit them, sending them right off the edge. Hey, Solaire.
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you.
Now infiltrated Anor Londo. Huh. Well, that's good to know. So technically I need 5 hits to kill them. But the 4th hit will poison them, thus finishing them off. So my 4th swing leaves them exactly with 3 HP, and the poison tick will rest. Going down into this deep, dank void. So that stone knight that I killed in that one small room, here's all of his gear. You need a ridiculous amount of strength to use it, and this last chest is a fake, just to catch you while you're on your greed spree. However, the Occult Club, even if you were able to cheese your way through the Iron Golem, somewhat like I did, where I, instead of fighting him, I pushed him off the cliff. Although in my case I do have the damage to actually fight him, I just chose the faster route. But the Occult Club lets you, well, there's nothing too special about it. It's the fact that they've given you a unholy weapon to use. Unholy weapons are as strong as plus 10 weapon, which is quite a bit out of 15. And it's unholy, so it'll do more damage to actual living beings instead of hollows, which every enemy in here is classified as a living being, including the bosses. So they straight up give you a weapon that you can use, just in case you just happen to ham-fist your way through the Iron Golem. Since there is no fast travel, it's pretty easy to get stuck here if you just happen to ham-fist your way through that boss. Not entirely sure why I'm fighting all these dudes. I didn't want to do the trick while I was talking, but you can hop this railing onto that path below. It's definitely not intended, but it works. And that skips a whole section of the castle that I was supposed to fight through, and allows me to open up this shortcut back to the bonfire. Technically, enemies have stamina, but to at least my experience, it seems to only apply to when they're blocking, not when they're attacking. If an enemy like this comes along, his stamina only seems to play for blocking, so he can just swing. Keeps. Okay, now I can dress up as him though. So now I've got a shortcut back to the bonfire. I won't be fighting Ornstein and Smough immediately. I will be trying to open up doors first and clear out the castle with the rest of the knights. Not for any particular reason other than loot. The weird floaty knockback. Oh, that's That's rude. You see me hopping all the way up there? You have such a weird floaty knockback that doesn't play nice with other weapons. Here's another example of doesn't matter how much damage you do. Oh, well, unless you headshot him. If you headshot him, he'll just stay right where he is. Hello there. Don't mind me.
Who are you? Forge your weapons?
Okay. He sells normal, large, green, and twinkling, but none of the chunks, including the colored chunks. Oh yeah, something that hasn't really come up is, this game does have a durability system for some reason. My gear wasn't even a quarter of the way worn down. It makes one question why they even bothered to have a durability system. Demon Souls had that too, but it at least had a purpose. Now let's see, I could upgrade something, I guess. Well, I have plenty of the larger shards, but I don't have any small shards. Well, that's fun. Okay, well, that blacksmith, when you bring souls from a boss, he can turn into a weapon for you. Usually you'll have two choices. He'll usually either make the weapon the boss was wielding. Wow. Ooh. Just gonna stand there and take it. Usually he either makes the weapon the boss is wielding, or a weapon based on the boss. An example would be the spider chick boss that I fought, and then proceeded to just consume her soul for more experience. Come down. You can use her soul to make the sword she was using, or an alternative would be to make a katana based on her chaotic nature. So katana with high damage, but you take damage when you land swings. Not nearly as much as you are dealing, but you're still taking damage. I believe there are actually two weapons that do that, now I think about it. Chaos Blade is a katana that you take a small amount of damage when you're attacking. It's a bit of a callback to a weapon from Demon Souls, where the strongest katana in Demon Souls was one that had no hilt. It was just a very long blade that you held at the base. Oh, and he's toxic. So this is where my somewhat awkwardly low damage comes into play. Enemies that can heal themselves, because they will just continually out-heal my damage output. Actually, I might be able to just go fight Ornstein and Smoke. Come on, Solaire. So people can brag about fighting Ornstein Smoke by themselves all they want. You guys have fun doing that. I at least want a distraction. Since I'm not going to be using either of their equipment, it doesn't really matter who I kill first. Okay. So when you summon anyone for a boss fight, NPC or otherwise, the boss gains bonus health. I can't remember if they gain bonus damage, but it's a significant boost in health.
Thou hast journeyed far and overcome much, chosen undead. Come hither, child. O chosen undead, I am Guinevere, daughter of Lord Gwyn and Queen of Sunlight. Since the day father is folded obscureth, I have awaited thee. I bequeath the Lord vessel to thee. And beseech thee, succeed Lord Gwyn, and inheriteth the fire of our world. Thou shalt endeth this eternal twilight, and avert further undead sacrifices.
It's a giant woman. A giant lung. I don't remember the song. But anyway.
Tarnisheth the Godmother's image. I am Gwyndolin. And thy transgression shall not go unpunished. Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo.
Okay. So far, plot recap. Some dude was letting the undead out of the undead asylum. Saying that there's some kind of prophecy where, an undead who escapes from the asylum returns to Lordran and, rings the 2 bells there. He will, find the... I had to get up and stretch. He will find the destiny of the undead as a whole. Now then, after you ring the 2 bells, Framp, the serpent I haven't spoken to at all, appears, and he instructs you that you need to go to Anor Londo and take the Lord Vessel, the thing that Guinevere just gave me before I shot her. Using the Lord Vessel, I can go fight Gwyn himself, the Lord of Sunlight, and take his place. Because he went to renew the flame with his soul and failed. The Black Knights that I've been fighting are actually part of the elite Silver Knights that he took with him to the flame, and were scorched in the process, and they're now basically haunted suits of armor. However, there are some paths you could take that I didn't take up to this point, which would have allowed you to be aware that they're actually... Okay, microwave. Which would allow you to be aware that there are actually 2 primordial serpents. Now, the other serpent tells you that it's a bunch of bullshit. They're just looking for a turkey to fill up with souls so they can throw into the fire. Because the divine flame is the source of all of God's power. So, that serpent is the one I'm going to go side with. Because you can devise a plan with him to steal the flame itself. Souls, so you're strong enough to be able to take the fire without dying. Now, here's where some complications come up. It is a secret ending. Normally, up to this point, I will have, if I hadn't killed Guinevere, well, actually, killing Guinevere has no effect on it. But if I take the Lord Vessel back to Frampt, the primordial serpent, he'll take me to Gwyn's tomb and have me place the thing there. And that opens the path to the latter half of the game, which everything up to this point has been pretty open-ended. I could have wandered off anywhere. There's a whole forest I haven't gone to, and a whole DLC area I haven't gone to either. Since it's a remastered version, the DLC is in the base game now. But to access the final 4 areas of the game, I need to side with Frampt and place the Lord Vessel there. But if I want the secret ending, the dark ending, to side with the other serpent, I need to slay a specific boss. Now, normally, there's the final 4 paths, and however, only 3 of them are actually locked and need me to place the Lord Vessel down. So if I travel to and defeat the 4th one, the one that's already open from the start, the second primordial serpent will pop up and tell me about my alternatives for stealing the flame. So, I need to go fight that specific boss. Which, since he's one of the 4 final bosses, he's endgame strength. Now, what makes him a bit more complex is, he exists in an area called the Abyss, which in Dark Souls lore is known as, Just wanna... There we go. Okay. Now then, the Abyss is what would happen if the fire is not refreshed. Ow. The Abyss is a, well, I guess you can't really say it's a small part of the world, but it's a portion of the world that succumbed to true darkness.
So it was you, was it?
Oh, I interrupted her. Oh, could you not cast Dark Mirror Blade? And parry. The same parry the Banditos use. So enemies parrying is a bit, weird.
But how? This man is a threat.
When you try to parry an enemy, it's, you start up an animation, and then for the first 6 frames of it, I believe, something like that, if an attack comes into contact with you, you will stop it. And flip the wrong way, and then you can follow up with the pokes. Enemies, however, when they parry, I guess because, I don't know, maybe they couldn't figure out how to have the AI time the parry. They instead enter a stance where they're holding their shield slightly differently. And if you swing at them from too close, I'd say maybe half an arm's length past your arm, your attack will be parried. They don't always do the riposte though. I'm wondering what's up with that. Maybe not figuring out how to get their AI to counter someone. Oh, I don't have the Ring of the Dark Moon, so he doesn't care about me. Okay, so Anor Londo is supposed to be the city of the gods. However, as one can see from how I've infiltrated it, it seems like there's nothing actually here. And, the giant woman Gwendolyn, I've now proven to, that she was just an illusion. She's a fake. Oh, I don't have a Ring of Magic Defense. Oh, that's fine. So, by breaking the illusion, I'm pissed off the one actual god that's been still living here.
Heretic. First thou offendeth the Godmother, and now thou see fit to trample upon the tomb of the great Lord. I am the Dark Sun, Gwyndolin. Let the atonement for thy felonies commence.
Okay, so this might appear like an endless hallway, but if you keep chasing him for about 10 minutes, I think. Oh, that was the piercing one. Yeah, if you pierce him for about 10 minutes, you can hit the end of this hallway. Oh, third shot. Has it always been third shot? That works.
Swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
There goes Gwyndolin. So that was the last actual god left here. And he was pulling a ruse with that illusion of the divine princess. Oh, yeah. This area gets reused pretty hard in Dark Souls 3. I can't remember if brass armor was better than what I've got. No, slightly heavier, but better. For the most part, most armors are balanced against each other. So while this one is, its defenses are a bit higher, I didn't double check the numbers, but it seemed like some pieces had more poise than others. The poise stat is what allows you to power through an opponent's attack. Actually, no, I'm not done here yet. Okay, so now I can re-enter this cathedral, but so these guys aren't illusions. Huh. Now, I believe I've only picked up one of their swords from when I killed. But these are known as the Painting Guardians. What is this, Dark Souls PvP? The painting in question that they're guarding is this large painting right here. I should get that before I touch that. So when I returned to the tutorial stage, it was to pick up an item called the Peculiar Doll. The Peculiar Doll is not of this world particularly. Just too far. There we go. It's because the Peculiar Doll is from this painting. Because it's actually a Super Mario portal. Ah, yes, that's what it was. You can't fast travel from this bonfire. Which, yeah, that's something I forgot to mention. Now that I have the Lord Vessel, I can fast travel. It's not here. Not from this bonfire. This one exists in a different dimension, so to speak. Shot me from right next to me. So these enemies explode into toxic parts, which is great. Although at this point, I guess you should have enough health to stand around while intoxicated. Oh, they changed that to 20 humanities. So throughout this area, these large crows, crow people, they love to drop down from who knows where when you're picking stuff up. And now we have white rats, also a bit toxic. But with a high enough health pool, you can shrug it off for the most part. Ah, there's another nice suit. I can't remember where, but I remember there was a skip in this area. I know the skip later on, but I remember there being... here? There we go. About, I don't know, 3/4 of the entire area. Ugh. Since I'm locked to two-handing my weapon all the time, enemies like this that would be stopped easily by blocking, tend to be just a bit more of a problem. While blocking almost always reduces damage, there's also 3 tiers of how strong your guard is. Blocking with a weapon tends to be a light guard, like a small parrying shield. While most medium shields tend to have a medium guard. And lastly, great shields and one specific medium shield have a high guard trait, where just about anything that hits you gets staggered back. And come to think of it, there's one shield that could be called extra light shield. Even though it stops about 80% of all damage, because of how the shield is classified. Oh, hi there, guys. Because of how the shield is classified, when you block an attack with it, you skid backwards. Which I guess for some strategies could be useful. No crows behind me. Dragon. And just stood all day shooting him. And then you realize how slow his barf attack is. Okay, so my first skip was hopping from a small scaffolding rooftop, who knows, off onto a fence, which then made me roll over that fence to an area I'm not supposed to be yet, skipping about 2/3 of the area. Now then, when you kill that dragon, you're supposed to dead end. And the final third of the area is you trying to go through some sewers, because there's actually a first floor to this bridge, and you need to get to that. However, I don't know if I can do it with this weapon. Oh, okay, there we go. If you do a jump attack on this, it gets up, even though it doesn't do anything else other than that. And just like that, the rest of the area has been skipped.
Who art thou? One of us thou art not. If thou hast misstepped into this world, plunge down from the plank and hurry home. If thou seekest I, thine desires shall be requited not.
This waifu is Priscilla, the crossbreed, half-breed. Waifu with a saifu.
I expected as much from thee. Why dost thee hurry to live thine death?
So footprints too late. Want your tail, girl. Got it. Sorry, girl. Normally I would continue on, but this is another section where you have to quit and reload the game. The NPC I dueled in that small yard with all the pikes and the crates. Yeah, there he is. There's his armor set. Okay, now I'm done with Anor Londo. So, I will need a scythe, which I can find in the catacombs. And then I can turn that into Priscilla's scythe. So normally when you inflict bleeding, the target loses 30% of his health, just straight through his defense. Priscilla's weapons though, the dagger I got from her tail and her scythe, tear off half of the target's health instead. So certain enemies, you would only need to hit them 2 or 3 times and the bleeding would trigger and finish them off. The catch, however, if I remember correctly, the dagger takes longer to inflict bleeding, and the scythe also has inflicts just a little bit of bleeding to you. Not as much as you're dishing out, but certainly deals some bleeding to you. So if you're fighting a lot of enemies without stopping, you eventually bleed out yourself. So now this is a proper trip to the catacombs. That should be fine. A thought that crossed my mind just a bit too late is the occult club you pick up in Anor Londo. You can use it to take out the bosses, and afterwards when you come back to the catacombs here, you can have the giant blacksmith remove an upgrade level from it, and that'll turn it back into a holy weapon. These skeletons are only staying dead because I happen to have killed the necromancer. But once I start getting further in, there are more necromancers. Using a holy weapon, especially a blunt one, like the occult club, cuts off the skeleton from the necromancer and actually kills them. But I'm over here, and catacombs themselves can be just a bit of a joke. Because normally you would have fought the skeletons, seeing that they refuse to die. This area just seems just a bit too tough for a starting character. So you go in the opposite direction towards the Burg, and things just keep leading into another from there. So by the time you return to this area, what level am I? 59? I haven't stopped to grind anything, and I'm at 59. Usually people end up returning down here at like 65 or 70, and just kind of destroy everything. Oh, that one dropping right over. Now, while this is one of the final 4 paths, the actual lock that stops my progression, that I need to place the Lord Vessel in the tomb for, isn't until pretty deep in. It's past these catacombs into a second catacomb that's deeper. And for some areas you want to wait until you place the Lord Vessel before bothering. But because I have the Lord Vessel and fast travel, the final bonfire of the entire catacombs is one of those fast travel points. So I can fight my way all the way down to there and then leave. Fun tidbit about is it about the necromancer? I've lost my track of thought. All these skeletons. Ooh, he's got dropped. So while I could just drop to the bottom like I did to get this sword, I'm progressing through for the scythe and for this skull lantern. Which, now that I've got the skull lantern, I guess I'm only here for the scythe. Because to make a boss weapon, you need a weapon that is similar to their weapon. You upgrade it a bit, and then you infuse it with their soul. I can't remember where the necromancer of this area is. Oh, they're standing in the doorway. So this is where having a divine weapon would help. I can't remember where the necromancer is, but I do remember this path. There are two secret paths from this room. I'm having trouble remembering which one leads to the necromancer. So I think it might be this one. So while my defense is higher in this armor set, I am getting staggered much easier. Oh, that's okay. That's where he was. Another way to kill a skeleton is to lure them so far away from the necromancer that they gain benefits from him anymore. Where's this guy again? Actually, where did the necromancer go? Huh. Oh, guess he fell somewhere. Sometimes if an enemy aggroes because they've noticed you're in the general area, they'll just wander off and fall down a pit. He might be down here, actually. Oh, he did fall down here. Oh, wow. I forgot they added this bonfire. Freaking Dark Souls remastered. Got people dying to pinwheels, so we gotta add a third Oh, I skipped the second bonfire. Hey, Vamos.
Ah, you have an ember, do you? Forget about it. What's gone wrong with embers?
What have you got, panels? That. I should probably be using a claymore for the whole game. It's kind of the best weapon in the game. Actually beating the game. Is that 9 shards? Oh. Okay, and he can't do anything for me from there. Okay, vamos. Actually, I mean, I guess that's if I don't get Black Knight Axe. Then I'll get that. Everything. Oh boy. Okay, guys. It'll be back. Okay. Is that all of them? I feel like there used to be more down here. Oh, hey, you came back. Oh, he's wrong. Want your axe. Why are you jumping? Why are you jumping? You need to stop. Okay. Show me an axe. That's not an axe. That's fine, I guess. I guess I can't be that lucky. I did kind of get the Skull Lantern already. Which reminds me I should probably have that on. Come on, Pinwheel. Okay, what mask did I get? Oh, the child, I guess. I'm so used to not having this. Okay. 4 hits and I can stagger them. Hey, Patches. Okay. Well, I already had lantern, so... Hey, girl.
You're no hollow, are you? Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are two fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts. Who would let such strong spirits be hollowed so? Heavens, is there nothing at all to be done?
Your two-handed heavy attack.
You banished those two hollows, did you? It pains me to think of the trouble my failings have caused. I am certain that both Vince and Nico are grateful to you. Thank you so very much. Here, these belonged to them. You deserve them more than I. I am certain that
Two steps. Huh. Okay. Damn, they were darking this place up. Okay. Oh wow, is this door always open from the start? Oh, there's Izalith. Okay, Patches.
Oh, you! Well, let's just calm down. Talk about things. I did you wrong, but I'd these... You know what I mean? You and me, we're... For heaven's sake, let's not mope about, eh? You're still alive. I know. I did you wrong. These... You know what I mean.
Okay, Patches. Oh yeah, this demon dog start. Right into the mouth. That stagger is real. Oh, hi. Oh, yeah, there's no point getting out of that. Hitbox being thrown out at once. Okay. Well, I guess I could kill the Black Knight before I leave, since I got the ring already. Oh. That's too close. Having a good shield to block with blows those fuckers back. That seems to be the general idea of how they balance enemies with high attack speed and high damage. Just blow them back. Can't refresh the stagger on him. It's a good thing he died. Okay, I hear him. Come on. I know you're coming to me. He'll find a way. Glad I didn't stop to heal in a moment. I guess it is about time I actually upgrade things like my armor. Jeez, it's only been 4 hours. But also, it's been 4 hours. Okay, I guess I'll cut off here for a break. fresh cup of coffee ought to help.